All right, I think we're live now. It says live, so let's go with that. All right, welcome everybody. I am Kevin, aka Bravo One Rescue, and we are here to talk about another Jiu Jitsu show. And I have my co-host here with me, Scott, aka the Jedi, also known as the talent of the show. Scott, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. Good. Can't complain. It's hot, man. It's 100 degrees out here in Northern Virginia, man. It's crazy, but it's all good. Just got done training strength and mobility today, so I'm a little tired. So if I start rambling, just tell me to shut up. So.
No worries. Today's show, it's actually a very special one. Today we have the honor to host as our guest Enson Inoue. Recently, Professor Enson had made a decision to return to Jiu Jitsu after a 10-year hiatus. Since his return, he realized that he was a little rusty, possibly a little behind the curve of how the game is morphed. He had taken off his black belt for a little bit, going to a purple belt, and that caused quite a stir in the Jiu Jitsu world. Some folks criticized him, others supported him. But today we're going to dive into that decision. We're going to dive into to his thoughts and theories on Jiu-Jitsu, his passion for it, and most recently his decision to put his black belt back on. But with that, Professor Enson, welcome, and thank you so much for coming on the show today.
No problem. Looking forward to it.
Okay. So first and foremost, how long had...
Let's do the introduction so the crowd knows who we are.
Okay, go ahead, Scott. Go ahead.
I'm nobody. No, I'm just kidding. So my name is Scott Jedlinski. How most of the people on the online community may know me is through Modern Samurai Project, my little enthusiast page where I talk mostly about jiu-jitsu and firearm training and the correlations between the two. I've been training... Well, let's say I started jiu-jitsu in '96 under John Lewis, where I trained under him for about a year and a half, and then I'm in the mortgage industry, so I got transferred out to Orange County, California in 2000, and believe it or not, even though now it's like the West Coast headquarters of the world for jiu-jitsu, there was nothing there. The joke that I used to make is my wife used to work in the Gracie Baja World headquarters in Orange County, California, but it wasn't that. It was like an internet company at the time. So that's how nothing was there. So I took, like Professor Inoue, I took a 13-year hiatus, got big, got fat, and then went back to Jiu-Jitsu in 2009. I'm currently a 3-stripe purple belt under Tony Passos, who is a De La Riva black belt, but currently under Andre Gaval and Atos. So that's me.
13 years, whoa.
Dude, 2000 to, yeah, long time. Actually, 90.
You know exactly where I'm coming at then, huh?
yeah, man. For sure, I know how hard it is. But it was a little easier for me because I got to a 3rd stripe white belt under John. Because you know John, he doesn't give out belts, man, especially not back then.
Yeah.
And because he didn't have to. He was the only real school in Vegas. He was a block. I was so fortunate. He was a block down the street from my apartment at the time. The only other one was Haelson, not Helson, but Haelson Gracie, who was charging like $400 a month. So, and that was in '96. So John was like the only one. It was an awesome time, man. It was John, and obviously the biggest one was Steve Da Silva, Sugar Pop was there, and I had left. I had stopped. I got promoted at my job at like '98, and that's when everybody started training with John, like Chuck Liddell, like Tito Ortiz, BJ Penn. I remember going to class one time, and everybody was talking about the phenom BJ Penn. And there's like, oh, he's doing this thing. He went down to Brazil, blah 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 blah. He's doing this thing called the De La Riva, taking people's backs, and it was like, whatever, And then I left, and then that's who BJ Penn is. So, good times, man, good times. But I was a white belt when I came back. I was still a white belt. right? So I've been with Tony since 2009, white belt through purple and everything. But we're going to talk about that today, how it must be tough coming back as a black belt. And Kevin and I were talking about your decision, and a lot of people, because I mean, jiu-jitsu is obviously it had a couple of explosions from the first UFCs, and then it died down a little bit, and then Ultimate Fighter came back, and then MMA exploded and jiu-jitsu exploded. So a lot of people don't know, with all due respect, who you are and your legacy as being, were you like one of the first 20 American black belts in there or something like that, sir? So a lot of people don't know who you, and even who you and your brother, who you guys are. So I remember when Kevin was saying this, I'm like, brother, he can do, whatever the fuck he wants to do if he thinks this is the right decision. It's a self-humbling process. I mean, jiu-jitsu is humbling enough, and sometimes you have to find whatever motivation there is for you to take the next step. You know what I mean? So, not going too deep into it and get on my soapbox too much. But when Kevin had told me about it and I looked at the story, like I applauded it, regardless of whatever the motivation was, because you have to find a way to push yourself, and no one's going to push you as hard as you can push yourself. So anyway, that's what I got to say about it in the beginning anyway. So.
All right. So I guess I'll do my jiu-jitsu introduction, I guess. It's very short. I am a two-stripe white belt under Rafael Lovato here in Oklahoma City. I've been training for coming up on a year now. I do have a background in a few other principles and whatnot, but jiu-jitsu has always been something that I've wanted to try, and given the opportunity, I actually asked Scott where I should train here, and he pointed me in the right direction. So, super short.
That's it. So for the audience, Professor, do you want to kind of go into your background? And, I know it's a long and storied one, but if you go into your background, how you got started, how you got introduced to jiu-jitsu, maybe even why you've kind of fell out after all the years and your decision to come back.
Okay, well, I got started in Hawaii. I was born and raised in Hawaii. I've been living in Japan for the last 25 years, but I was born and raised in Hawaii, and started off in the very beginning when the Gracies, Helson Gracie couldn't speak English. The Gracies were trying to expand out to America. Well, anyway, Helson was appointed to Hawaii. At the time, it was such a small thing. No one knew Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and it was actually a non-credit course in the University of Hawaii. So I was walking on the campus. I was actually at the time taking like Taekwondo and Muay Thai, just not ever, fantasizing about being in the ring, but actually just for street fights and just be able to defend myself in the streets. So of course you're looking for the most realistic thing. I did Aikido, I did Karate, and I just felt that something like I did Jet Kune. So what I did, I picked the three. I picked the three for distance fighting. I felt that Muay Thai was good. For when you get in really close, I thought Jet Kune Do was good. And Taekwondo was just something for flexibility. And like if the guy's drunk and you can high kick him and look pretty cool, then I thought about that.
If he's on a horse, you can kick him off.
Yeah, so I was just actually looking at things that are realistic. And I was walking through school one day, and I saw this little TV setup with a Brazilian guy standing there. His name is Romulo Barros, but he was standing there and he was introducing the thing. And I stood there and I was like, wow, it's cool, street fight. So I was watching the street fights, and then there came the last one, and it was a Hickson against Zulu. And then when I saw that in Hawaii back in the day, big meant strong. So if the guy's big, he could fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm standing there watching that and thinking, okay, this Gracie Jiu-Jitsu video is apparently trying to plug Gracie fighters, and then they got this little Gracie guy fighting this big Brazilian black guy, and I'm thinking, okay, if the little Gracie guy beats this guy, I'm hooked. And as you know, in the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Action 1, Hickson choked out Zulu.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, I got to try this out. So the very next class I went down to, it was in the University of Hawaii Studio 4, non-credit course. And I went in and took the course. And to my surprise, it was all this. If he grabs you here, swing your arm around here, do this, and I was thinking, this isn't the shit I saw in the video. I was thinking, man, this isn't realistic.
Yeah.
I was there and had a couple black belt jiu-jitsu guys, and I waited for everyone to leave class, and I went up to house and I said, I'd like the stuff in the video, the realistic stuff. I said, is there a way I can like feel out Gracie jiu-jitsu? And he said, yeah, you can spar with one of these guys. So of course, it's a friendly sparring, so there's no punches involved. But even though I felt the guy must have been like 150 pounds, and I was like 180 pounds, and I was in good shape. So I was thinking, this guy's not good. There's no way. I don't care how good he is. I don't need to punch him. There's no way this guy's going to do anything to me being that small. Went on the mat, and I felt like a fish out of water. He took my back, choked me out. And I guess he didn't go for arm bars because I'm thinking that he probably didn't think I understood arm bars. So, when you don't understand arm bars, you don't tap.
Yeah.
He didn't want to hurt me, so he choked me out. And I'm like, whoa. And the choke, the first time you feel the choke when they wrap it on your neck and it's like your whole roll's like coming to a close. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You understand chokes, something's bad.
It's both it's both bad and it's like magic happening to you at the same time. Right?
Yes, what happened? Like, I asked to one more time for 3 times, and he choked me out, and I was hooked. And that's actually what started my Gracie Jiu-Jitsu thing. I was hooked so bad. Although he only had classes Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I trained 6 times a week. I would go to his Tuesday, Thursday classes in his garage, and I would get together on Saturdays with some of the other guys and just rent out the studio in the University of Hawaii and college and just train there within ourselves. So I was just hooked. I mean, I did a lot of training. So that's my background on how I got started.
So a lot of people, I'm always amazed at how many people don't know who John Lewis is either, even people that are in the community. You could probably do a better job than I could, Professor. Do you want to say who John Lewis is? And I'm actually curious on how you met John. I know John lived in Hawaii or was born and raised in Hawaii or something like that. But how did you meet John?
Well, I never knew John back then when he was in Hawaii. I think Egan knew John. Egan was training with John.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. All I know is, he's a Penador's black belt. When we were out of Nova Union, and when we were training for the Abu Dhabi, I had a super fight with Morris Berry in Abu Dhabi, I think 1999 or 1998. And when we were training for that, he came and trained with us because he was going also. So he was in the team that was training for that Abu Dhabi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's the first introduction I had of his knowledge on the ground and his, the way he trained. So, our history in Jiu-Jitsu was really crazy because we were with Helson, and Egan had a little bit of a fallout with Helson. Not me. Egan had a fallout, and when he had the fallout, of course, Egan's my brother. I can't disown him, so he's still my brother. And Helson, out of the blue, when I was a 3rd stripe purple belt, Helson came up to me and said, "Enson, you got to make a choice." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Your brother or me?" And I was like, "Are you serious? You're actually giving me a choice between my blood brother and you. And I love you like your brother, but don't give me that ultimatum. It has no connection to anything."
Yeah.
And so I was ready for class. I remember that I went in, and he came up and gave me that, and I looked at him and I said, "Look, thanks for everything you've done for me." And I walked out of the studio, and that's the last time I went to Helson. So my next step was Egan was training with Higan Machado a lot at the Machados. So I would go with him to train every so often. And when Egan won the World Championships in his purple, he got his brown there, and Higan told me that I'm the same level as Egan, so get your brown. Then after I beat Randy Couture, when we were training with John a lot for Dhabi, Egan was getting his black belt promotion, and John said I was at the same level, and I actually I'm a black belt level, so he gave me my black the same day that Egan got his black.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's my progress through the jiu-jitsu ranks, and John helped us with the training for Abu Dhabi, and his knowledge on the ground was just incredible. And then, when he gave me my black belt, I was a black belt, I mean, a lot of people going off on the internet saying, "Oh, you don't feel like you're justified to be a black belt." You know, the thing is, what people don't understand is I'm don't have a PR agent. I don't try to do things that I think sound cool. I don't talk and say things because I think it'll be politically right. I I'm on Facebook posting exactly what's going on in my head. You know, so it's real time. You know, you got a lot of these guys got hindsight and they see what happened. They sit on it for a couple of days, think about it, and then they criticize. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, I'm a human being. I'm not saying I'm ever making a perfect decision, and I'm open to criticism. I'm open to being changed. As you know, I've changed my decision. But you know, I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at these people giving them all these backlashes. It's cool, man. You know, give me criticism, but don't give me criticism like you're judging me now of who I am because I made my first decision. Give me criticism as a human being, saying, hey, this is what we think. We don't think it's right, so you might want to reconsider. You know, I mean, don't give me and say that's stupid, or someone comes up and says that's fake humility. I never once thought of being humble. I never once, even till right now, think it's a humble decision. I think it's just a decision that I felt was the right decision for me at the time. You know, so I made that decision, and you know, a lot of people criticize, saying that, oh, that means John Lewis gave you a black belt that you didn't earn, or he gave you a black belt prematurely. No, he didn't. When he gave me my black belt at the time, I could roll with the best.
Mm-hmm.
I could roll with any black belt. I could roll
We're
with
competing in
anybody.
Abu Dhabi. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I rolled with Mauro Sperry for 28 minutes, and he couldn't submit me. I mean,
yeah.
and he ended. And it came to a point where Mauro Sperry hugged me, and I even talked to him when we were grappling. I told him, "Hey, Mauro, if you're gonna side control me and hold me and not do anything," I said, "you're probably good enough to hold me." So I told him, "Hey, Mauro, if you're gonna hold me here, nothing's gonna happen." And what he said back to me in the middle of the match was, "You're too dangerous, my friend." And that's it. And so I was like, you know, someone like Mauro Sperry, you know, for me trying to submit Mauro Sperry, I have to create openings. But if
Yeah.
someone that good wants to hold you and hold you down, man,
That's,
there's nothing I could do. I mean, I
but
told
that's
him
respect
that. I
too.
can't do anything. I can't
Yeah.
do anything if you do this, man. And he said, "You're too dangerous, my friend." I'm like, wow, that's cool, but not cool. You know, it's cool, but it's like, man, let's mix it up, man. Let's see what happens, you know. But that's the level I was at the time, you know. And when I took a 10-year hiatus off of jiu-jitsu, not by choice, but because I was concentrating so much on MMA. You know, of course I would, you know, to a certain point, I would put on the gi every so often just to grapple in the gi. But after 10 years ago, I haven't put on a gi. I haven't done anything with a gi. For the last 4 years, I went totally zero. No weight training, no grappling, no gi grappling, no nothing. I told people that it was like I ran out of mileage, man. I trained so much in my heyday that I was burnt out. I was burnt out of fighting. I did not want to fight. I didn't want to train fighting. I would help certain people, but even classes in my gym, I wouldn't even do that. You know, I would have my students do everything. I was burnt out. I was really burnt out off the whole thing, and turned into a fight fan and watch the fights, follow the fights, you know. So you got to figure 10 years out of jiu-jitsu, 4 years zero. And I'm getting back on the mat, and my first thing when I got on the mat was I said, okay, I'm going to go in and take the beginning class. With my girlfriend started training, so I said I'll go take it with her. Every single move I didn't know.
Yeah.
Every single thing he was teaching white belts, blue belts, and purple belts, I didn't know. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm not going to throw this big macho trip where I act like I know the move. No, I'm in there like the white belts questioning the teacher. Wait, okay, so you do, okay, wait, what do you do from here? Okay, oh, and you know, he goes over at me again. So I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what that looks like. What is this guy? Is this guy black belt jiu-jitsu to the white belt students who don't know me? Okay,
Yeah.
look, this guy in here is a black belt. Is he a judo black belt and acting like he's jiu-jitsu black belt? You know, he's disrespecting the art. You know, at my first initial feeling with that was I felt really uncomfortable. You know, I felt like I should be true to myself and true to the art and true to everything, and put on the proper belt that I think I'm level at. I mean, you know, even I'd not even be a purple belt. That's the thing, is I'm thinking maybe even blue might have been a better decision, but I figured, okay, let's give me the benefit of the doubt that with my experience, although I don't know a lot of techniques, but because of my grappling experience and I maybe purple should be a good level to start at. I'm in no way putting down any purple belts because purple's hardcore, man. To get a purple belt, you got to work hard for that. So
and purple belt, I felt better. That's the one that you chose.
Yeah, purple belts is one of the longest belts to get out of. So I felt that you could get a blue by just buying a Gracie beginning course and watching it online. You could be a real good blue belt because guys don't promote you. So blue is also a big division, but I think once you know the basics as far as the mount escape, and you figure you can teach a white belt something. I thought maybe I could be a shitty purple, but purple I figured was a good level to start at. So what's really interesting is this whole thing took so many changes, and even the last thing where I'm standing right now, you guys don't even know. Okay, so one, I want to start off saying that in no way was I trying to do any PR. In no way was I trying to be humble. I mean, even till today, I don't think it's being humble. I mean, I was just being real. I'm not saying, okay, I'm going to be humble, I'm going to be cool, and I'm put a purple, but no. I was really just thinking that I just got to be honest and be the level that I am. So I decided to put on a purple belt. My students freaked out. My students looked, no, and I'm like, explain to them that, hey, I really believe I'm a purple belt, and if you feel that I've advanced or if you don't think I'm a purple belt, not because of who I am, but because of what I'm doing and the level. I said, I don't even know the beginning techniques. How can you tell me I'm not a purple belt? I said, promote me if you feel that way. Just tell me, Enson, put on a purple brown. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to be promoted and be under them. I'm always going to be, to the day I die, under John Lewis because he's giving me my black belt. So I'll be a John Lewis black belt forever. I might be a John Lewis black belt training at my purebred gym now. John Lewis black belt maybe training at Egan's gym, but I'll always be a John Lewis black belt. I have my respect to John Lewis in that way. So that was my first initial feeling, and for me, I have such an interesting life. I have such a journey that I want to relate to people that are real human beings. I'm not this untouchable person that going to go through some PR route and make sure everything's perfect before I post it. I'm going to post it live as is.
Yeah.
So when I made the decision, I figured, hey, whether it's wrong or right, whether it's going to change or whether I'm being a dummy or being stupid, I'm going to post it because this is what a lot of people, I think, go through right now. A lot of people got their black belts, took a break, and came back. There's going to be a lot of people that didn't come public with their feelings. There's going to be a lot of people who are experiencing probably the same things, whether you're black or white or blue or purple. It doesn't matter what belt you are. Or even if it's not even jiu-jitsu, even if it's in a world of technology or medicine, there's going to be a lot of people that's been through this where they've had a profession, they've been the best in the profession, they decide to do something else or take a break, and then when they come back, although they were the best at the time, they're like, oh shit, I'm not up to date with all this stuff. And a lot of people are going to pretend like they know stuff and study it behind the scenes. A lot of people are going to just say, like, I feel like sometimes the Gracies are doing this now where they're saying that's not real jiu-jitsu. Instead of catching up to jiu-jitsu, they're saying that's not real jiu-jitsu. That's not our jiu-jitsu. But it is your jiu-jitsu. It's your jiu-jitsu getting better and being refined, So, I felt like, like I spoke to you guys earlier, I felt like I was in prison for 10 years and come out and, imagine what the cell phones were like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going in prison for 10 years and coming out, and although you knew everything about the cell phones 10 years ago, try to pretend that you know how to use a smartphone? Although you look at it and say, what the fuck is this, man? It's like, what is this cell phone? That's what I felt like. I felt like I was someone who just came out to a whole new art and really didn't know the slightest thing about the beginning parts of the whole thing. So that's the reason why I decided to put on my purple belt.
That's awesome. I mean, you can ask. I mean, I didn't even. When you said that, I said that's cool. Again, I was like, the guy can do whatever he wants. I mean, as far as American / Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu goes, you've pretty much seen it all. You're one of the few people who their lineage, their history starts before UFC 1, right?
Mhm.
You know, so
Sorry.
and that's a very small group. Uh, I'm in that group. I saw UFC 1. I was growing up. I was Taekwondo. I'm half Korean. You got to do Taekwondo, you get disowned. Little wrestling in high school. Used to play pickup basketball in Vegas all the time. I won, but it was work. 6 months with John, arm drag to rear naked. It was easy, but it's just amazing. You have been out of jiu-jitsu longer than most people have been training, and I almost guarantee you I guarantee you that everyone that's talking shit is in that less than 10-year group because they don't know who you are. They don't know who John Lewis is, and just Google it. First guy to ever officially go to a draw with a Gracie in an MMA match. Am I wrong? He was the first one, and if they had points back then, he would have won. He would have run 10-8 across the board. I remember that. So guys, people, even though I think jiu-jitsu is such a young sport relative to the traditional ones, that people forget history and where the shit came from. And yes, it came from Brazil and the lineage there, but there's a whole string of American jiu-jitsu, starting with John. A lot of people don't. John was a Gene LeBell black belt. Who's Gene LeBell? He's the old man behind Ronda Rousey at the fights. He's the guy that the reason why you saw grappling in Game of Death with Bruce Lee was because of Gene LeBell, So the history goes deep. Know your shit. Know your history before you start talking shit, And as far as, I don't know, this is me going on my soapbox, as far as humility and false press, was it after the tsunami or the earthquake or something, you walked the length of Japan to go help people?
I walked the length of Japan to bring about awareness of the people that are still suffering in Japan.
Right, and you were making those awesome bracelets and selling them through Fakai and everything. People don't know. So I always get amazed, and I talk to Kevin about this, whether it be jiu-jitsu, whether it be about firearms training and arguing with people on the internet. Before you start talking shit, just put their name into Google and see who you're talking shit about. It's just, especially with something as humbling as jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? You go on the mat, you get smashed, you sweat, you bleed. You go home. Sometimes you cry, right? But then people go on the net and they still talk shit. It's like, didn't you learn anything? This guy has a black belt after not training for 10 years, and now he's coming back. Why don't you hold on for a second?
But what's cool about that is the percentage of people that's talking shit is like a very, very minute amount of people who's actually really excited about the fact that I'm getting back on the mat. So yeah, the good way outweighs the bad, like by far. But my biggest concern was John. I didn't want to disrespect John. I didn't want to think that I was in any way degrading his black belt or any way saying I'm no longer with him. So I contacted John by mail, and I told John, hey, I just want to make sure that you're okay with it. There's no disrespect to you, but this is how I feel. He came back. John is such a cool guy. He came back with this straight up. I don't think you're doing the right thing. You're a black belt and will always be a black belt. And he said, another thing he said was, but it's your journey. Out of respect to me, he says, your journey, and you got to make your choice. So I saw there was a little bit of, okay, John's not agreeing with it, but he's giving me that option to make it my choice. So I felt like, okay, I respect John. I respect John as much as I can respect anyone. But I also felt that, okay, John's a human being. Maybe he doesn't see what I see right now, but in time, as he watches my journey, he'll understand. So I made the decision to still take it off and put on the purple. And then when I made that decision, John sends me another email. And just to elaborate, just Enson, I got just one more thing to say, and I'll just let you on your journey, and I'll support you whatever you need to do. So he gives me this little metaphor on a I gave this metaphor about cell phone. Like I'm a cell phone expert, and then I'm out of the cell phone world for 10 years, and all of a sudden I come back. I'm not going to pretend to be a cell phone expert. I'm going to start learning the iPhone all over again. So I gave that description.
Mm-hmm.
And then so he says, okay, Enson, that cell phone, he wrote to me that the cell phone isn't an accurate analogy. And I was like, why not? And he said, because if for example, here's a better example. He said, if I'm a doctor and I'm out of practice for 10 years, yes, I probably can't practice, and I might have to learn all the new medicine and new ways of operation or whatever in the medical field, but I don't throw my doctorate away and start at my bachelor's degree again. I study as a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So I learn to study as a doctor. And when he said that, I was like, damn, you know what? That's right. You know, I'm a black belt. I'm not going to throw my black belt away and say, okay, because I'm not that level, I'm going to start learning from purple belt. I'm going to have humility as a black belt, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to learn as a black belt. So when he said that, you know, I felt like a hypocrite because I was sitting there just announcing to the freaking world I didn't even know it was going to take off like this. I had no idea. I thought it was going to be within my little Facebook circle, and people are going to follow my journey, and the people who follow me are going to learn from the mistakes and experiences I go through in this whole journey. But I'm getting like people like it's going on MMA.tv, it's going all over like in different countries. In Amsterdam, is hitting the press like wildfire. Like people are just going crazy. On my post, there's like over 300 messages coming in, and I'm like, what's going on? What? I can't believe this has gotten so crazy. And then I realized that, man, this is bigger than I thought. And there's more people that are passionate about what I'm doing because of, I guess, a lot of people are going through it. You know, a lot of criticism, probably a lot of black belts that are going through the same thing and didn't want to do what I did. You know, so I'm sitting there like, holy shit, this thing is crazy, and I just announced it to the world. I just did a podcast as soon as I announced it from somebody, and then now I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to have to change my mind now. I have to tell everybody that I'm not going to do it, and I actually hit on John saying, hey, you know what, man, fuck, I don't know how I'm going to break this to everyone now. I'm going to look stupid. And he goes, so what? You're human, and this is the decision you made. Fuck what everyone, this is his word. He said, fuck what everyone thinks.
Mm-hmm.
This is your journey and your journey alone. And if this is the decision you want to make, do it. And so I said, but I still was kind of weary about it. I say, okay, I got to write up this whole thing that explains why I went through. And a lot of people, when I was doing that, writing it up, everyone was saying, you don't need to explain yourself. But you know what? I take pride in being an inspiration to people. I take pride in having my journey, things that I do and things that I go through help people in life. You know,
100%.
You know, so I felt like it was, if I'm going to be that random and explain, I'm changing to a purple belt like that on Facebook. I owe that to the people who's following me, the explanation on why I'm actually not going to do it now, and I've decided to change back to my black belt. So I explained it on my Facebook post, and you know, I'm stoked. I got these things of true humility, true martial artist, and I never thought about that. And I'm sitting back there like, wow, it looks like I'm like the humble martial artist, and I'm like, you know, I really don't see it that way. But it's like, that's cool, man. But you know what? As I was going through some of the messages, there was something that Fabio Santos posted. And it wasn't for what I decided. It was actually against it. But, you know, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I'm not ever posting anything thinking that's law. I'm open to being changed. And he posted something that was real crazy, that he said that what Enson did was an escape. It wasn't humility. It was an escape from showing humbleness. And I was thinking about it. It's an escape from the humility of being a black belt and being submitted by a purple belt, or having the purple pass his guard. So when I looked into that, what he said, I thought, you know what he's actually saying is, it wasn't humble putting on a purple belt. It was lack of humility as a black belt.
Huh.
And when I sat back and thought about it, I said, you know what, that guy, I'd love to sit down and talk with this guy. This guy has deep insight, because that he's 100% right. And all these, I'm like, oh shit, that means I'm not that humble person anymore. It's pretty cool being super humble and be this true martial artist, but now I feel like, okay, maybe it wasn't humility in myself, it was lack of humility as a black belt. So now I thought also there's another difficult thing to do. Now I have to accept that. I have to put on the black belt and train with these lower belts, or even train with people that I promoted to black belt and be taught by them and be submitted by them and be controlled by them. And I felt like, okay, now I'm showing humility as a black belt. Now I'm showing humility as a person. So I am a humble person, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah, so man, it took all these twists and changes, man, and up until today, I think you guys probably didn't realize that it was actually lack of humility. Reason why I probably, and I sat back and I thought, you know what? He's 100% right, because I was feeling ashamed as a black belt being taught by a purple belt. I was ashamed going in and going through after the technique is shown to us, partnering up with a purple belt, and he's actually explaining to me what to do. I did feel a little bit ashamed of being like that. And that was probably the reason why I wanted to put on a purple belt, is because I didn't want to be told as a black belt, and I'd rather be told as a purple belt. Yeah, so it was lack of humility as a black belt. So, man, it's like, you learn and you learn and you learn and you keep learning, man. And it's incredible. I mean, this journey is actually something that I'm writing part 2 in my book, and it's definitely, this chapter is going to be a huge chapter in my book now. I just, without knowing it, I created another chapter,
That's amazing. Yeah, no, I did not know you decided to put back on your black belt. And I got to tell you, I didn't even think about if it was the right choice or the wrong choice. All I understood is that you had the right to make that choice, but you had to go through that. Right? To be comfortable in whatever end choice you were going to be making. But it's tough. I mean, Kevin knows this. I got promoted at work, and I've been traveling back and forth from where I live in Northern Virginia down to Charlotte, North Carolina, every week, and it's been tough. And I trained a couple days a week at a school down there, and a great school, but they don't get after it. There are schools that are awesome, but during the role, they don't go after it. We're telling these people, and I come back here, and all the white belts are bigger and stronger, and that was only after 9 months. So I made the decision to go back to the fundamentals class just to get that timing back. But Kevin, do you have any questions before I start taking over again?
No, man, keep going. I mean, I'll be honest. So when I first saw this whole thing, I thought it was like some clickbait, like silliness that Professor Enson had given up his black belt for purple belt. And then the more I dove into it, the more I understood, and I try to keep an open mind on things and understand where that person's coming from and everything. And right or wrong, I mean, one of the things that I kind of came to was in my, gosh, I've been training, I think, 11 months now. In my 11 months of training jiu-jitsu, I have found that jiu-jitsu always finds a way to humble you. In fact, this morning is a prime example. At my Monday and Wednesday class, or classes, I did awesome. I mean, I was hitting moves on blue belts that I'd never hit before, and I was like, I'm on point, I'm on fire, this is good. And then today I went in, and I just got freaking mopped. I mean, it was bad. I couldn't do anything right. I got held in side control for the most of a 5-minute round, and they were just dancing all over me, and I couldn't do anything about it. So I kind of equated that lesson that jiu-jitsu seems to teach of humbleness to that, is, especially with putting the black belt back on. And I did read the article that you were talking about, Professor, with the when they were saying it's a lack of humbleness that maybe this happened and whatnot. But I mean, that's just kind of how I played it. And I was like, him putting it back on that's jiu-jitsu. The entity that it is has just taught this lesson.
Yep.
You know the thing with jiu-jitsu, it's so humbling because it's a sport that you can go 100%. Like if you box with someone, you can't go 100%. But this, you can go and use all your power, and there are times when your power ain't gonna do shit for you, and it's humbling because in a way, if you're not gonna be humble and you're gonna say fuck this, and you're gonna turn around and say fuck it, I can beat him next. Or if it was a street, if I could punch, I could beat him.
If I could eye
But
gouge.
you'll never get better if you take that attitude. You'll never get that better if you take that attitude. So if you want to get better in jiu-jitsu, you gotta be humble. You gotta say, I got schooled. I'm gonna sit down and figure out why I got schooled.
Yep.
It's a humbling experience. And for me, like you guys said, it's my journey, and I can do whatever the fuck I want. To tell you the truth, it is my journey, and that's how I felt. Fuck everyone else. I feel my purple belt. I'm putting my purple belt. The only problem I had was John Lewis. I did not want him to feel disrespected. That was my only problem. If it wasn't for John, I would have said, fuck everybody. This is my journey. Follow me if you don't want. If you don't want to, don't. But this is what I want to do, and this is my black belt. I can do whatever. And you know what, man? I worked hard for my black belt. It's not something that I throw away on a whim. And people think that it's a PR move or I'm being stupid. And you don't throw a black belt for nothing. It's heavy thought, and I really felt it was the right decision. But yeah, John Lewis was my only concern, man.
So before I ask Ian the next question, Kevin, this will help you, right? So there's that old saying that sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail.
Sometimes you're the nail.
Right, yeah. But it goes deeper in jiu-jitsu. My professor, Tony Passo, says sometimes you're the fish, sometimes you're the other fish.
Yeah.
There's no hammer, there's no nail. Sometimes you're one fish, sometimes you're the other fish. Don't So it took me a long time to understand that. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you just you're you. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're not good. Doesn't matter. Just go train. So Professor, the next question I want to ask you though is, like you were saying, that like with the doctor analogy that John was saying, you may not be able to practice, but if somebody has a car accident, you're a doctor, you can go out, you can still help them. You may not be able to do it with all the newfangled techniques, but you can still. It might be an ugly stitch, but it's still a stitch, right, from where you learned back then. So my question to you is, obviously you rolled. Taking the fact out that you said you hadn't really worked out and maybe you weren't in that in jiu-jitsu shape yet or something like that, but do you still feel that your old fundamentals, if you wanted to just shut a purple or brown belt down, that you still could?
Yes and no. Because okay, let's put it this way: I'm not gonna ever go online and say I submit a purple belt, I submit a black belt. It's not my deal, because it's not about the journey. The journey is about what I am as a black belt, getting my guard passed by a purple belt 2 times in the class last week, being able to do nothing with a brown belt, him actually turning me over, But I didn't write about, I submitted the brown belt. I submitted the purple belt. I submitted them with basic techniques from the mount, the when you grab in, you lean over, you grab in, you rotate over the head. I submitted them with basic stuff. I submitted those guys, but that's not the point of my training. It's not about me submitting them and being better than them. It's the fact that I couldn't keep this purple belt in my guard. He passed my guard like that, and that should never happen. A black belt should never have his guard passed like that by a purple belt. So I should never be turned over by a brown belt like that so easily. It wasn't like he caught me off guard. He turned me over with ease. And so like your question, yeah, I feel the basics will hold you to a certain point, though. To a certain point. So yeah, the basic techniques, yes, is really strong and good to have. And I'm submitting these guys in those basic techniques. But the reason why I say I'm a purple belt is because I don't understand the basics of
the new jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, exactly. The new jiu. It's like a whole different art, man. It's like a totally different art, man.
Yeah. No, I look back at the times when I was training with John and Steve, in that time, in my mind was that, I still didn't have that jiu-jitsu awareness you get maybe when you get to like mid-purple. At that time, Steve Steve was a purple belt at the time. But looking at the stuff, you know, it was Gracie Jiu Jitsu, self defense, and hard rolling too, you know. And I look back at some of those things, and I was like, oh, if I could do what I know now, deep half guard, De La Hiva, Berimbolo, stuff like that back then, you know, I wonder if that stuff would work. Probably not against John. Steve was just such an amazing athlete, you know, back then. So I was wondering if the stuff now would work back then against awesome guys like that. And even you know, I mean, I don't think they would work against Pederneiras and stuff, but it would be interesting to see. So that's why I asked you that question. See if,
you know what though? I think if you jumped in a time machine and went back in that day, I bet it would work on them. But it would work once.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It would work because these moves are so advanced and it's evolved so much that these moves aren't bullshit. It'll work. It'll work. You don't know it.
Yeah.
The guys like John Panadaris, John Lewis, you know, they would absorb so fast that you do it once, and they'd probably next day in the class they'll probably tell you how you could have refined it to do it better.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it would have worked, but not for long.
Yeah, absolutely. That's okay. If it worked once, I'd be okay with it. Good stuff.
Yeah, but you know, so John also pointed out a point that, you know, he doesn't really have problems with the new age jiu-jitsu guys. But, you know, I really wish I could say that. You know, I mean, I just got to be honest. You know, John, wow, props to you, man. You know, John is John Lewis, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's been zero out of this game like I have, you know. Or he's just much more talented than me that these new school guys can't do shit to him yet. Because I was in the class and I got shit done to me. So I know, damn, John, I wish I was like you. I wish I could say the same thing, but I can't.
Well, so, I think what John is, I mean, you know, in you know, still in Vegas, you know, he got his acting career and stuff like that, and that people won't let him get out. You know, you got Drysdale, you know, who's fighting MMA now. They won't let John get out. You know what I mean? He still has to train, so.
It's funny because the stuff you're saying, deep guard. What the hell is a deep guard?
Oh yeah.
Berimbolo, if you tell me to lay on the mat and show you the Berimbolo, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
De La Hiva, I think it's the one you kind of wrap a leg, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Berimbolo, I mean, my latest thing was the rubber guard.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Eddie Bravo was starting the rubber guard.
Yeah.
That's the newest move for me, man.
Yeah. Wow, that's a long time ago. Yeah, that was 8, 9, 10 years ago when he first came out. Are you watching any of his the Eddie Bravo Invitational stuff?
Yeah, but you know what I noticed? No gi is a lot different than gi, man. You take out 80% of the repertoire when you don't have a gi because you can't, you know. Yeah. The new jiu-jitsu is about using the gi and so much, you know, grabbing the lapel, grabbing the opponent's here, grabbing your own lapel. I mean, the new style is just using the gi so much. You know, I kind of want to, my students, my black belt students, they're game to just take off the gi and roll without the gi because a lot of the MMA fighters come into the jiu-jitsu class and want to roll without a gi. Yeah. So I'm actually next class I'm thinking of going and ask him to roll without a gi to see how much my no gi sparring has actually been gotten out of tune, you know. So kind of interested to see that. But I know my jiu-jitsu man, it's exciting. I mean, as humbling and as hard it is to do, it's exciting in a way where because everything is so new, everything, and I'm at this point right now. I'm learning all these new techniques and thinking, oh, it'd be so cool one day when I could actually use one of these in sparring.
Yeah.
That's how it is right now for me. And it's exciting, and I'm looking, you know, the thing I sat back and looked at too was that I got my hands on so many people. I mean, I went to eat lunch when I went to Philadelphia with Jared Weiner.
Yeah, good guy.
I mean, I got this hands on. He's like a brother to me, and I mean, I could use him to teach me jiu-jitsu, but I went and ate lunch with him. You know what I mean? I got so many people that I could work with. I got 7, 8 black belts in my gym that enter all the big Pan Americans. I have a
Like
gym
Steve
in Guam,
Roberto in Guam, right?
Steve Roberto in Guam, and I got all these. I got Barrett Yoshida at the arena. I
Yeah,
got all guys that I have so much access to, but because I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu, it was just like a brotherhood thing,
yeah.
But it's going to be exciting, man. I got Egan in Hawaii. I got all these guys, and you know what? I don't care if I get schooled by his students. I mean, once you put that shit out, and I don't care if I'm going to get submitted by a brown, but by being a black belt, it gets a lot less stressful, man. It's so much more fun when you put that ego on the side, sit that ego on the side, and tell it to chill out.
Mm-hmm. It's tough though.
It's a hard thing to do, but man,
it's hard to do. But yeah, then you start having more fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I was telling one of my other buddies. I have a very good friend. His name is Faraz, and I think I just gotten my purple. I've been purple for like 3.5 years now. And my buddy Faraz has always been that one belt ahead of me. He got hurt, and it was like I don't know, it was like a nerve thing to where he couldn't flatten out like his left foot and stand right or something like that. He's all worked out now, I could do nothing against him. Like I would do very well against guys that would do well against him, but I could do nothing with Faraz because he knew my game so much, right? Then he got hurt, and I found my game not growing at all. And what I realized is that every time he submitted me, I was learning, and I would do it to somebody else. And when he got hurt, my game went nowhere. And then you make that realization about being the student the whole time. Whether you get beat, whether you beat somebody, whether you get that position, whether you don't get that position, as long as you're learning, that's all that matters. But it's tough to learn when you're getting cross-faced. So.
It's important. It's important to understand that the day you stop learning is the day you die.
Yeah.
Because things are always evolving. There's no such thing as perfect, but there's getting close to perfect. But you never can get perfect. Perfect is like a magnet turning the opposite way, and the closer you get, the farther it gets. So you can never be perfect. So the day you think you're perfect is the day you find a arrogant person that's never going to get better. But I believe that you're always a student, man. I mean, no matter what, man. I got this, samurai Yamato Damashi strength that people think that I'm this unbreakable thing. I break a lot, but every time I break, I learn. I get stronger. To admit that you are not perfect is only going to be an advantage to your improvement. So I forever to the day I die want to improve and get to be the best person I can be before the day I die. So the last thing I'm going to do is admit that I'm perfect, because being perfect means that you'll never learn anymore. And I want to keep learning until the day I die. So if you want to admit and say you're perfect in anything, then you're actually closing the door for any improvement or getting better. So I don't ever want to do that.
I got that jersey from Fakai too.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, love that jersey. So Kev, what do you got, buddy? Otherwise, I'm just gonna hog all this time.
Well, no, hog away, man. It's a
hog away. Doing it is just sitting back.
So Professor, where are you training at now? Because I mean, you own Purebred still, or you own the association? What are you doing these days?
The real funny thing, I started it. I invented it or started the whole thing. But as far as I'm concerned, Purebred Guam is owned by Steve Roberto.
Mm-hmm.
Purebred Japan is run by Ikeda, my student Ikeda. I'm in no position. There's in no way am I ever gonna stand up and say, hey, you guys should do this with them, or you should do this. They've been doing it for ages. Steve Roberto's been running the Purebred Guam for ages. He knows what's best for the gym. He knows jiu-jitsu better than me.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I'm just there to support him. If he needs my support in any way, if there's anything I can do to support him, I'm there. But as far as whose gym is Purebred Guam is Steve Roberto's gym. And if anything, when I go to Guam, I'm going to ask him permission to be able to train at his gym. Yeah, my girlfriend's going to go to Guam next month to train, try to get her jiu-jitsu better.
Mm-hmm.
And I called Steve, and I asked Steve, is it okay if my girlfriend Sarah comes and trains at your gym? And he gave me his blessings. And, so, I mean, it's not like I'm calling and say, hey, Sarah's going to train. She's going to have to train at the gym. Okay, so that's it. I'm actually there at the stance where, is it okay if she comes and trains at your gym? So, yeah, I started. I still say I'm proud about it. I'm proud about the gym. So I do say I have a gym in Guam. I think Steve has 2 gyms in Guam. I have a gym in Saipan, which is run by Cookie Alvarez, which is, I take no profits from it. I make no decisions on it. They run the whole show, but my name is behind it, and I support it. And if I can do anything for them, I'll always do it. I have a gym in Thailand that I financially supported. It's a Sentient Noise kickboxing gym. It's a Muay Thai gym. He makes all the same thing. It's his gym. He makes all the decisions. I supported it in the beginning. I helped it get on his feet. That's it. I have friends in people I call brothers in Portland, or actually Washington, the Fisticuffs gym, and I go and support them. It's actually a more boxing-based gym, but I have a brown belt, Jeff Starks, real good brown belt, about to get his black, so he's there training. There's another guy, Jason, he trains as a purple belt. So there's a lot of gyms that I'm affiliated with, but it's even Barrett. Barrett's a brother to me, and I'm supporting him no matter what. He's at an arena now. So there's a lot of gyms I'm affiliated with. I'm a part of, but no long. It's not my gyms, but it's just something that I support 100% and consider my family.
And it's an incredible list of family, man. I mean, Steve wouldn't know who I was. I mean, I met him once at Pan Am's 2000. Whenever he came out, I was out there too. Barrett, just through the John Lewis circle and everything. I think I met him once. Outstanding individuals. And Barrett, how old is Barrett now? He's getting up there, right?
Close to 40, I think.
Yeah, right. He's still, did he do PI? He did Metamoris. He did all of them. Like, guys half his age. I'm like,
that guy's incredible. Yeah.
Oh my God, just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So.
Yeah. So I also got a close relationship with Mike Fowler.
Okay.
He's in Hawaii now.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of know Mike because so like I'm in Northern Virginia, and all those guys like Jared and Mike, they were all with Lloyd Irvin, and then that whole thing happened, and then I don't know how closely you kept tabs on all that, but like when Jared left, and then Fowler left, and then Keenan Cornelius left, and all those guys, and they came to Atos. So, which we're affiliated with under Andre Galval and stuff. So, so that was interesting. No, Fowler's an awesome guy. Awesome guy.
Yeah, so I got all these resources that I got to touch into now, man. Now, I had them as family. Now they can help me in my jiu-jitsu. They can help me with this new journey. And the thing is everyone's all excited saying, oh, we're gonna see Enson competing. You know what? It's such a long road. I'm not leaving that option out. But you know what? I'm being realistic, man. I'm not gonna say that in a year I'll be competing, or in 2 years I'll be competing. I might not even be able to compete. So unless I believe I'm at that black belt level, I would love to step on the mat again. I love the competition. I believe I have the sense and that sense for jiu-jitsu, and I believe I'll pick it up fast. I'm just worried about the body, the
Professor, there's worlds just for master level now, master age, right? From 30 on.
They need an old creaky old man's level.
Oh, it's master 7. I'm like I'll be 46 next month, right? And it's like master.
What age is a master start at?
Huh? 30.
30.
What?
30, but they every 5 years they've got a new section, right? So if you're like 30 to 35, you're Master 1. I'll be 46, so if I went to the World Masters, I would be in like Masters 4 or 5. They got 70-year-old guys competing.
Wow, I'm going to be 50 next year.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like Master 5 or 6. Check it out. Yeah.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, you'll probably roll against Mario Sperry again.
But you know what, though? Out of respect to the art, the day I compete is the day. If you guys see me on Facebook say I'm going to be competing in an event, that means I myself believe that I'm at a black belt level.
Yeah.
Whether it be masters, juniors, seniors, or whatever it is, I will feel that I would have to be at a black belt level.
That's awesome.
Professor, I got a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
So before you made the decision, or the decision started weighing heavily on your mind to put on the purple belt, how many classes or how much time elapsed from reintroducing yourself into jiu-jitsu before starting to make that public and all that?
It was a short 1 week, man.
Okay.
I sat on it for 1 week, and in that 1 week, I went to 3 classes. And on the third class, in class, I went to one of my instructors and asked them if they had a purple belt that fits me in the back, and they did. And they were asking me why, and I was like, I think I should rock purple belt. And it was, like I said, I pondered on it within myself, within what I felt, what I believe was right, but I didn't ponder on it in a political level, on the jiu-jitsu world, on what it's going to look like to other black belts. I didn't ponder on that. I was a personal journey, and it was a personal decision. I pondered on it on that, and I made my decision. And the world went crazy on it, man. The jiu-jitsu world I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh my God, all these, I'm getting like 300 plus messages. I'm getting like 12 different people that want to do podcasts. It's hitting like all the big MMA sites. I'm like, oh shit, what's going on here, man? Maybe that's when, in hindsight, I was thinking, shit, maybe I should have sat on a little more and actually talked to more people about it before making the decision. I messaged John, I messaged Egan, and then talked over my girlfriend, and thought about it within myself after all their input and made the decision. So it was like I talked to 3 people.
Yeah. Speaking of like old fights and stuff, I remember, I don't know if it was you or your brother, but I think I actually have it somewhere, like an old VHS tape. You guys did this competition, and you guys were wearing, the kimonos, tight like compression shorts, and MMA gloves. And you started off with like punches and strikes, and then went to grappling or something like that. Do you remember that? It was like in Hawaii. It was like some Hawaii invitational.
No, it was in Japan. It was a Japan thing.
It was a Japan thing. Was that you, or was that your brother, or was that the both of you?
Egan entered it.
It was Egan. I remember that thinking, oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think they called it jacket jiu-jitsu, where it was like fighting, but you had the gi top on, so you could use the chokes and everything.
Yeah, it was something like you could only punch while you were standing, and if the guy took you down, you had to grapple and not punch and stuff. Yeah, I think I still got that somewhere on VHS, man. That's cool stuff, dude.
There were some big names that entered that. Gono from Shuto, one of the Shuto champs.
Yeah.
A lot of big names that were in that, man. It was an interesting thing.
It was. That's awesome. So where are you training now? At one of your friends' place, or where are you training?
I'm training at my gym, Purebred, in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Japan.
Okay.
And I'm planning a trip in the summer for Guam to work out with the Guam guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Guam guys got like 10 black belts now. It's like incredible, man.
Guam now has what, 10 schools out there. I don't know where they put them all. I lived in Guam when I was like in 7th, 8th grade. My dad was Air Force, so that's where you get the Korean eyes and the Polish last name. But but I was like, where they put all these schools, man? There's no room on Guam. Anyway,
yeah,
but
Guam is the mecca of jiu-jitsu, man. But
it is. Of the Marianas, man. There's nothing else to do. That's what I remember. either eating coconut boonie peppers or you're fighting. So what else is there
Yeah,
to do?
Guam's awesome.
There's no
Yeah.
waves, so there's no waves in Guam. So
And probably to say the Guam, Purebred Guam is the biggest gym and the
yeah,
most prestigious gym in Guam. So
but it was the first, right? It was the first.
it was the first, yes.
So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, man, you could train anywhere you wanted from all the way from Japan all the way because Jared's in Philly, so
I
Japan all the way.
definitely gonna make a trip to Philly. I think next year I do seminars, MMA seminars, so I'm probably gonna do a seminar in Philly again, and then probably make a trip a little longer and go roll on the mats with them.
Yeah.
Clean up their mats with my gi, and then I also when I go to LA the next time, I want to go visit John and have John. I can clean John's mats with my gi, so I'll clean some mats up with my gi.
Where's John teaching at? Is he at the Hollywood Jiu Jitsu Club now or something like that, or the Beverly Hills Jiu Jitsu Club? Right?
Last I saw him, he was with Higgin.
Okay.
But now he said he's actually broken away. He's still in Hollywood though. He's near Higgin where Higgin was, but he has his own place now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely go there when I get into LA too. I mean, I gotta catch up. I saw him last time was like 2 years ago, but we just had lunch and I mean we just said hi. He was in the middle of a class. Said hi, what's up, and then left.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to spend more time, talk to him. That guy's not just a good a practitioner of jiu-jitsu. He's a good role model. He's like an older brother to me.
He's awesome, man. Because I just remember it's a lot of people when I started were saying things about John that like we're kind of saying about the new jiu-jitsu now. He was the new jiu-jitsu. People bringing in things from different stuff, whether it be from like Judo Jean LaBelle and things like that, because everyone was like, how did this nobody do this well against Carlson Gracie Jr.? How did that even happen? You know what I mean? So he was that new guy coming in out of nowhere. So it's interesting how the cycles happen. And yeah, good training with him.
Looking forward to working with these guys, man. The thing too is I haven't put anything on Facebook, but I'm running into another problem where I'm having problems with my body, man. It's just I can't tie my belt on myself. My arms are so tight that I can't reach behind my back.
Wow.
So I have to have someone tie the belt for me.
Yeah, really.
The other night, actually last week, I tweaked my knee.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I couldn't go up on the stairs with this knee. So I haven't done jiu-jitsu for like 3-4 days now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna probably take till next week off just to let this heal a little bit and then go back. So it's like when I first got injured here, after sparring, I walked out, got into the car, and I was like, "Oh, my knee feels weird." And when I got out of the car, I couldn't climb the steps with my knee without having a sharp pain shoot up my thigh. Yeah. So I'm like sitting there trying to get into reality. Like, yeah, it's this big thing that I want to try and work to see if I can maybe possibly compete again. But I'm thinking, man, it's not. People saying you can do it. You have a heart of a champion. You have the drive of Yamato Damashi. But it's like,
you wish you had a knee of a champion, right?
The heart of a champion and the drive of Yamato Damashi ain't gonna freaking heal my knee, So.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I've had my left knee got replaced 3 years ago, so I've still been rolling since. So.
Wow. Yeah. So I think people, a normal person, obstacles they see it as unfortunate. I see obstacles as having opportunities to grow.
Yep.
Obstacles are. You can't, you get an obstacle in front of you. You got to get better to climb the obstacle. You got to work hard to get around the obstacle. So the knees now having a little problems. I feel that it's something that is a little challenge and is an obstacle that's going to help me grow and work through it. I'll work through it. I mean, I don't know how far I'll go with this, but I'm definitely going to give it my all. That's all I can do.
For sure. For sure.
I give it a year. I give it a year of training, and you're going to see a huge difference. You're going to be like, oh, I'm looser now. You're rolling better. I mean, it just in a short amount of time. I mean, there's a lot of differences that happen, and I think in that year, especially with the amount of experience that you have, that I don't know,
That's true.
maybe 18 months, you might
At
see
least.
yourself back on the competition mat.
Well, you know
Or
what, man?
not. Or
Whether
not.
in a year, you got a good point there. It's whether being on the competition man a year or not. It's not my. I'm gonna. Of course, a year is a good time span. It's a good idea. A year, and then make an assessment. Don't make. I cannot make an
Yeah,
assessment in 2 weeks, man. Oh, my knee just popped out. Shit, this ain't for me. I gotta work through it. A year is a good timeline to see and sit back and say, okay, I've worked on this for a year, and I'm shittier than I was when I started. I'm not going to do this, or maybe it's like, wow, I can feel my flexibility coming back. I'm starting to pick up, and if there's progress in the year, which I'm pretty sure there will be, it's a good time to sit back and make an assessment on what's going to happen with the journey.
Yeah, this is true. On the other hand, we compete to get better at jiu-jitsu. We don't do jiu-jitsu to get better at competition, right?
Yep.
So if, I did my whole thing, I've got plenty of medals and plenty of getting tapped out first rank, stuff like that. And competition right now is not a goal for me. It's just about learning. I'm more into firearms competition and stuff like now. But, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right now, if I went to compete, because I've been out for the 9 months and just coming back, I don't think I would have the awareness to learn regardless of whatever. Win or lose, I wouldn't have the awareness right now to learn from competition, so why would I want to do it? That's
a
me.
good
That's me.
point.
Yeah,
That's a good point. I got to keep that in mind. The reason why I even decided to step back on the mats was because, one, I wanted to start losing weight. Two, my body was tightening up, and I knew jiu-jitsu. I started weightlifting, and because of the range of motion, some of the weightlifting, I couldn't bring the bar onto my chest when I first started. It was so tight. So now I'm actually getting it about an inch from my chest now, the lowest I can bring it.
Yeah.
I was weak as shit. I couldn't even do 225 on the bench press. So it was like, I felt like getting back into jiu-jitsu was like getting back into weight training. It's not because I want to be a bodybuilder or be a power lifter. It was because I wanted to get back into shape, lose some weight, get some range of motion. So like you said, that's what I got to keep in mind, that the reason why I'm getting back into jiu-jitsu is not because I want to be the top black belt or I want to compete. It's because I want to get more full range of motion again. I want to lose weight, exercise, and on top of it all, just have fun, So
Yeah.
in the process, if I feel right now, I don't even think it's a challenge to enter a competition. It'd be stupid.
Yeah.
So in the process of getting better, if it becomes to a point where I feel like it's a challenge to enter, I definitely will. So we'll see, Never say never.
Never say never. Yep. And same here. Same here. I'm back for the past couple months training 3 times a week now, and I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, what's awesome is I got my girlfriend just doing this journey. Now she's starting jiu-jitsu. She's a white belt yet.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to be with her. Come, Tom. And check this out. She's training she's going to make her pro debut in kickboxing on the 31st.
Nice.
I didn't do that, man. It wasn't me. Yeah, so.
Awesome. How you doing?
Yeah, so now, the journey's good because now we go into class and start training together. So when we come home, I got my garage set up with mats so we can actually go through some moves together. It's also nice to, be doing the journey with her journey with her,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
All right. Well, I'm oh, look at
That's my son. Oh, my daughter. That's our daughter.
What's up? So.
Yeah, man, you guys have any more questions, man?
No, I'm questioned out. I mean, I just want to say how awesome it was to finally get to meet you, finally get to talk to you. I've, because kind of been in the same circles. We know a lot of the same people. I can't friend you because you have too many friends on Facebook. So you're over your 5,000. So.
Send me a message and no, you know what it is? I'm not over 5,000. I have like over 1,000 friend requests that I haven't okayed.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so my friend request box or whatever it is
it's too full. Gotcha.
Yeah, so if you send me a message, a PM.
Okay. Yeah.
I can send you a friend request.
Okay. And then if you're ever in Northern Virginia, please, I'd love to, buy you some bourbon, some meat, and then come train.
Well, if you teach me some jiu-jitsu.
I teach you jiu-jitsu, yeah.
All right. That sounds like a plan.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Amazing. Well, this has been great. I mean, I know I sat here quiet for most of it, and you hit every question that I asked, or that I was going to ask you. You hit on every single one of them, and it really is just kind of like going to like advanced jiu-jitsu, class. I just sit there and just absorb stuff, and like, huh, okay.
For real,
it was great.
Yes, for real, man.
Sure.
So, as we wrap up, Scott, you have anything going on? Announcements you want to make? Anything like that?
No, just what I'm doing. So today was strength and mobility. I'll be 46 next month. Just training, getting back into it. Got to drop this 30 pounds that I gained from all the traveling. So tomorrow is jiu-jitsu. Friday, Saturday, strength and mobility training. The guys with Beyond Strength, and then Team Passes Jiu-Jitsu is having their 1-year anniversary in the new location. I got to tell you, man. So before I left, like a big class was 15 people. This past Friday, there was like 35 people on the mat. Unbelievable, man. All 18-year-old, 6'6" white belts.
All nightmares happening, ready to happen.
Oh yeah, so it's awesome getting back into that. What else? Tuesday I got a USPSA match, shooting match, and that's pretty much it. Writing a couple articles for primaryandsecondary.com. That's it, man. Just trying to stay young, stay humble, make a living, take care of my family, train hard. The last thing I'll say is for all the people in France and the last terrorist attack, last number was 73 killed.
Yeah.
People stay vigilant. Not to get on my soapbox and stuff like that, but people, your head's got to be on a swivel. Train hard, be harder to kill, because that's the only way you're going to stop terror. You know what I mean? So, anyway, hope that wasn't a downer, but.
Yeah. My phone's been blowing up with stuff, so yeah, it's it not a downer, but definitely a reality check, gut check.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Professor. If you're ever out here in Northern Virginia, because I know you aren't allowed to have firearms and whatnot, and out there in Japan or Hawaii and stuff. When you come out here, we'll go shooting, man.
Oh, that'd be fun. I'd love to. I suck, but it'd be fun.
Nah, it's what I always say is everything is jiu-jitsu, right? Shooting's jiu-jitsu. The body works the way the body works. People think they get a gun in their hand and all of a sudden the laws of physics change. No, it's just like jiu-jitsu,
Well, that's something I'm probably more shitty than I am in jiu-jitsu, is shooting a gun.
Well, we'll see if you ever come out, bro.
All right. Professor, do you have any announcements or anything that you want to...
No, I'm just... besides starting up in jiu-jitsu again, before that I was doing a lot of humanitarian work up in the people in Japan, up north. I do a lot of voluntary work with the temporary housing, with an orphanage in Fukushima, and with an elderly home there. I also make these bracelets here. It's all like Power Stone bracelets. You can go to destinyforever.com. You can follow the missions there too. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just want make people aware that there's a lot of shit happening in the world today, and just always remember that the stuff that happened just because it's out of the news, it doesn't mean that it's not. People are still suffering. You know?
Yep.
5 years ago, the tsunami hit Japan, and till today, the people in Japan are still suffering. There's over 100,000 people still out of their homes in Japan. Some of them don't even have enough, resources to get food and water.
Yep.
Just keep that in mind, this shit happened in France. Woke up, turned on the TV, and they're talking about now 80. It's 80 dead in France. So it's crazy, man. Live life like it's your last day, man. Everybody, tell the ones you love them, and you never know when things are gonna happen, man. Live life like it's your last day, man.
Yep.
But anyway, that's my closing. You can follow me on Facebook, my Jiu Jitsu journey, and my work up Japan. And anytime you guys need to talk or whatever, hit me up, man.
Awesome. I sent you a friend request.
Absolutely.
I sent you a friend request, Professor. The profile picture is of Saint Michael, so it's not on there, but so it's Scott Judlinski. So.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much, everybody. Be safe, train hard, get training.
Sweet. Professor, I'll put destinyforever.com on the description as well. That way folks have easy access to it, and hopefully they can buy some of the beads and donate to a very worthy cause.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on the show. I think this has been one of the best shows we've had. Things coming up for me. I actually have a lot coming up. Work is making me travel to Georgia for 2 weeks, and then right after that, I gotta go to Colorado. It's gonna be a pretty busy schedule, and it's the 3 weeks right before a competition that I'm training for right now in September. And then at the end of September, there's another jiu-jitsu competition that hopefully I'll be prepared for. But more to come on that. Just training a lot and trying to stay, keep my head above water at work, and make time for the wife and the dogs and my daughter when she comes back from summer. Take her out rock climbing or hiking or whatever she wants to do. So it's going to be busy, but it's going to be good.
Right on, man. And enjoy your jiu-jitsu journey, man. That's so awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
trying. It's just a day at a time.
Yeah. Bro, I hear you, man. I'm in the same boat as you right now, man. Day at a time, man. Don't look too far ahead, man. Day at a time.
Exactly. All right. Well, again, thank you all. And for everybody out there, train, get into something, have a passion, live it, love it, and share it. So, take care, all.
All right.